What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little bit different. Lovely, now I feel much better. But this video is actually quite serious and it's giving advice after school or college. Because for literally everyone, myself included, it's a weird time. It's a stressful time, it's a confusing time, and a lot of people don't know what to do when they leave school, when they leave college. But I'm going to try to give my best advice and stuff I've learned by going through the process, and hopefully something in this video can help you. So first of all, we'll go through like the social side of things, then we go through like the academic, the sensible things. But the first thing when you leave school, obviously, what I noticed when I first left school, left college, you're at school every day with your friends. You see each other, it's routine, and you take it for granted when you're there. When you leave school with your friends and people you used to hang around with, the gap for seeing each other just gets more and more and more, and life takes over, and you realise you don't see people as much. So my number one piece of advice is try and remain close with your friends. Try and stay with your friends, you know what I mean? Like, make effort to meet up with each other, do things, because in school you take it for granted because you just see each other every day. You all have to be at the same place, the same time, so you naturally just see each other. But then when you leave, you take it for granted and you realise things just happen, and like the gap between seeing friends gets more and more to a point where you just drift away and like you don't really remain in contact. And sometimes that's good. Like, I'm so happy that's happened to a lot of people throughout my life, because if I was in contact with them now, like, my life wouldn't be how it is, and people gone down some terrible like paths, and that happens anyway. So sometimes it happens for a reason. Don't force it. If there's friends you're close to and you like really want to see them and that, and you're really good friends, make the time, see your friends, but don't force it. In school you're usually in really big groups of friends, like that's how it usually works, and half of those friends aren't that close to each other, don't really care about each other, just there because once again you're at school, you're all there, so you all just kind of hang around together. But don't force it with people like that. If it's not meant to be, if you're not really a good friend, drifting apart's probably the best thing that ever happened. But when you first leave school, if you have like a career in mind, you have further education, that's perfect, you go into that. Some people have a job in mind they want to do, that's perfect, go into that. But I would say 90% of the population, especially these days, leave having no clue what to do, having literally no idea. And the best piece of advice I would say for that is try new things. Like, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. If there's literally nothing, just try like pick up some hobbies and stuff, and you'll find by doing more in your life, to try new things out. If you didn't know what to do, pick up a book and start reading, or try new hobbies, and just literally opportunities will open from just trying things. This one goes with being in school still as well, but like after school, same thing. A lot of people have like a barrier that's stopping them trying the thing they truly want to do. Say in my situation, making YouTube videos is truly what I wanted to do, and school didn't stop me from doing that. I did that anyway, and naturally people put you down, make jokes, make fun of it, and that's fine. And the same sort of happens after school. You'll be surprised when you're not in school anymore, not in college, people still find a way of showing their opinions and showing their true colours. And the best thing, just to ignore it, get on with it. Like I said, when you've left school anyway, you can just leave those people behind. So when they're making fun of it, see you later, mate, you're never going to see them again. You've got the luxury of doing that now because you haven't got to go to school with them every day. So you can do that when leaving school. In some ways, it's a blessing, because then you can try out, find yourself a little bit. You can find yourself, you can try new things. If it's YouTube, if it's sport, if it's dancing, singing, acting, whatever it is, try it. And even if people are there, like making fun of it, like putting you down, you got the luxury of just never seeing that person again. As sad as that sounds, it's true. It's only years later, when you're in a different situation, in a different period in your life, you realise that's a really good decision. Like, you're so happy you made that decision. I've said it from a young age, try, find your passion, find a thing that you're into. So once you've found that, you can just go with it. You can go all in, put all your focus on it. But some people, it takes 10, 20 years to find what they love. Some people find it earlier on. There's nothing worse than sort of getting into a career you're not really that into, or like doing a college course you're not really that into. Not only is it financially a waste of time, waste of your own time as well. That's not me discrediting education by any means. Like, I'm all for it. If you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, go for it, go for it, absolutely. But I know from personal experience, there wasn't much in that sort of space that I really wanted to do. So I sort of knew it wouldn't be worth my time, my effort, and it'll just make you a whole lot more depressed doing something you don't want to do. Another thing I found is when I first left school, what I noticed about the people around me, what I said earlier about putting the time in to meet your friends, that's cool, and I saw a lot of people did do that, so that's positive. Meeting up wasn't for a positive impact, drinking, drugs and all that stuff. As you get older, that sort of becomes the norm a little bit, and like, especially around me, when I first left school, that was like what most people were doing, and I didn't want to be part of that. I didn't really get the fun in it. If you have a focus in mind, you have a dream in mind, grind, work hard, don't let those distractions take over, like the peer pressure, because that's essentially what it is. People, like, when their life's not going too well, they resort to that stuff and they think it's like fun, they think it's amazing. But when they're still doing it 10 years later, it isn't as amazing, it isn't as fun. And this is more just like advice for personal experiences I've had. I can't sit here and tell you like a novel of facts of the best advice ever, because I don't know that myself. I'm not going to act like I do, but I like to think that stuff I've experienced I'll be able to share and some people can learn from, and hopefully it will help. Like, I'm sure there's a lot more out there, and I'm sure stuff will come to my head about like better advice and like other experiences I've had, but I can only really give advice on experience I've had, and that's mainly to do with like the social side of things when you leave school, and how academically the stress of school and what they sort of set you up to think when you first leave isn't necessarily how it is. Another piece of advice I would give is when you first leave school, what are you, usually about 16 years old. In the UK, you're allowed at 16 to get a part-time job, and it sounds shit, a little part-time job doing this, doing that, 3 times a week. Earn yourself some decent money, and you're underage, so the pay is not going to be amazing. In the UK, when people leave school, they go to college, and usually most courses are 3 times a week, so people just see that 2 days off per week, and that's amazing. I did that at first, I loved it, you know, I was at home gaming Warzone. Logically now thinking, if I had a part-time job at that time, which I did a year later, but if I had it from the start, those other 2 days, maybe one down the weekend, 3 days a week, under 18 minimum wage, you get like £50 per day. That's £150 per week, and from 16 to 18, in that 2 years, you will have a fair amount of money. You'll have thousands saved up, or set up a side hustle, set up your own business and earn money that way. Probably the best way, the way the world's going, you know, starting your own business is definitely the way.